Q&A Part 11. This is for 9,000 subscribers. We've already passed 10,000 subscribers, and I still have a lot of stuff to do for 10,000 subscribers. Am I going to do anything for 11,000, which we're pretty much at or past, depending on when this video is posted? No. Way too many other things to do whenever it comes to, subscriber goals. But thank you guys all for subscribing. So, it's time to record a new Q&A video, so let's get started. We left off with Fran Les Paul, who asks, hey, do you play any instruments? Are you in a band? Just wondering. I don't play any instruments. I play a little bit of guitar, but not enough where I really classify it as actually playing an instrument because I suck. I do sing. I'm not in a band. I used to be in a band, but I just have like zero time to be in a band. Plus, all the people that have any sort of musical endeavors around this area, with the exception of very few, all want to be in a deathcore, a metalcore, or a crap band that I would just be like, no. We're going to overhaul this right now. I'm going to remove you because you like Black Veil Brides. I'm going to remove you because you're wearing a Blood on the Dance Floor t-shirt. And I'm just going to kill you because you're wearing a Justin Bieber shirt to be ironic. And that's not ironic, that's just retarded. So no, I'm not in a band. I sing a little bit. I don't sing particularly well. However, I sing well enough where I could probably be better than 95% of the bands in my area. And I don't even have to growl. So yeah. We'll go with that. GC 12,038. I'm not even going to just say numbers. I'm just going to say whole numbers. Yay. He has 3 questions. If you could play one metal song at your funeral, what would it be? It would still be Down in a Hole by Alice in Chains. Question number 2. If you were trapped on a desert island and could only listen to 5 albums, what would they be? I would just bring my hard drive so I wouldn't be limited to 5. Number 3, what do you think of the Canadian thrash metal band Annihilator? I like Annihilator. I mentioned, I think, in a video a long time ago, that Carnival Diablos is a good companion album for Violent Revolution by Creator. And Annihilator's always been pretty solid. Of course, they gave us Mike Mangini. He was in the band for a little bit. He's now in Dream Theater. We're doing a Dream Theater discography right now. Everything comes full circle, baby. But it's just a really, really good band. I really enjoy a lot of their work. Alice in Hell is a great album, etc., etc. Mr. Cool Moves, what is the best live concert, festival, etc. you've ever been to and why? I've been to a lot of great shows. Like seeing Iron Maiden at Ozfest was pretty cool. This was, of course, before the egg throwing incident out in LA. I'm on the other side of the country. I still would probably have to cite probably Gigantor the second year, whenever Opeth and Overkill were both on the bill, principally because Overkill was listed for, I think, only a half an hour, and I'm not sure if one of the bands just didn't show or if something happened there, but for whatever reason, their set lasted over an hour. And that's something that always sticks out to me because maybe it was something that was wrong with the program. This was in Columbus, Ohio, so I really don't know what the explanation was. I really didn't look very in-depth into it because I didn't find it to be all of that wrong. I love Overkill, so it was something that I wasn't going to complain about. Those are 2 great experiences. Going to see Immortal and Absu whenever there's a blizzard going on outside, just to have them still do the show was pretty cool. I mentioned the Porcupine Tree show where I got my car towed after a really, really rough experience. I've had a lot of great memories and a lot of awesome experiences whenever it comes to shows. I've very seldom, if ever, really been disappointed. And usually, whenever I've been disappointed with any aspect of a show, it's mainly been, not really that much, related to the band. I remember one show I was mentioning how there was an asshole in the pit that was basically not moshing or doing anything, constructive. All he was doing was pushing people down, and he was targeting this little shit. And, it's whenever you see things like that, you kind of just want to hulk yourself up or, become Super Saiyan. You wish that you could be your favorite strong character and defend the weak or, just kick him square in the nuts, which, well, that could have worked too. But, yeah, usually that's where my disappointment really lies, is in how people react, how people act, things like that. Because, there are just certain, pieces of etiquette that, different generations really have towards metal shows, and different, subgenres have toward metal shows. Maybe this kid would be apt at a deathcore or a punk show, but if you were at such a show, I think this was whenever I went to see Goat Whore and a couple of other bands. But if it wouldn't have been that show, if it would have been like a deathcore or a punk show, there's a good chance that he'd have been taken out to the parking lot and stabbed in the heart with a knife. And the world would probably be a much better place without him. Let's talk to EZETOLC. What would be the lineup for your dream band? That's a really great question. I think I would have Mikkel Ackerfeed on vocals and guitar. I would also have Steven Wilson doing vocals. So basically you have the Storm Corrosion combination right there. But I would put Steven principally on keys. And he may do some like acoustic guitar work as well on the side. I would also throw in, who else would I throw in? I did this question before and I just forgot. I would probably put Dee Verney on bass. I really like that thick bass sound that he has. Or maybe I would go with Ellison from Megadeth. I don't know. That's a really rough question to handle. Drums, hands down, I would probably have to go with either Nick Barker or Hellhammer because they're just beasts. And whenever I would definitely have some sax in there. I would probably have a lot of different things. So my dream band's just a clusterfuck of awesome. I would maybe just make it like a traveling rotation where different people come on board because I can't choose just one for a lot of this stuff because I like so much. Like I would want one night would have like Lane Staley resurrect from the grave and do vocals for an entire set. This band would have like the most diverse lineup of songs in musical history. They'd make the Traveling Wilburys look like a bunch of freaking simpletons. It'd be ridiculous. Thoughts on Avenged Sevenfold asks X Mage of Metal X. I did a whole video on this. It probably happened after this initial question and answer video was posted, so I can understand why you would ask the question. However, if you are watching this right now, look up Avenged Sevenfold CKN band review if you haven't already, and check that out. That really answers all of the questions regarding that band. If you have a lot of big questions regarding how I feel, to put it very simply, they are a band that I actually find to be they're pretty good. It's just that they have been overplayed for me to death, thanks to some people that used to be in my life. But they put on a heck of a live show, so I have to give them a lot of credit. And obviously, having Mike Portnoy in their lineup definitely shows that they do require some instrumental prowess in order to actually, sound the way that they do. You have to have a little bit of talent. And, Mike was able to fill the shoes for him, and, now he isn't any longer. Does anybody out there know who their new drummer is? Because maybe it's just I have absolutely no desire to look, but I've had a lot of people ask me, and I just don't know. The Orc Man, there it is, The Orc Man 2008. Any thoughts or advice on how to make my channel? And when I start making videos, how should I introduce myself on my channel with my first video? I hope that you've made this video already. But here's the thing. Whenever I started, I didn't have a set blueprint in mind. I just, decided to talk about an album and pressed record. And that album was Saint Anger. And so back then it was a little bit different considering there weren't a lot of people doing this. So surprisingly enough, there was people that found it, even though I don't think a lot of people were searching for Saint Anger on YouTube. But enough people did that it started to build a base. It built a little bit of a buzz. I really didn't introduce myself in any way. Whenever it came to that, I just started talking, I didn't come out and say, hi, my name is coverkillernation, or at that point it was coverkiller, this is my first video, please, be gentle. I just came on camera and started talking, and it wasn't like, you don't really need to be all of that formal in order to introduce yourself. I kind of, this whole Cover Killer Nation gimmick, if you want to call it, sort of just came about over time, just from people talking and, different little inside jokes that happened either on Blog TV or in old channel comments back in the day, back whenever channel comments were, very widely used and very widely visible also. Just be yourself is the best thing I can say, and hone your craft. Practice, practice, practice. Chris Todd, what kind of books do you read? I'm not asking you, you asked me. I've read a lot of Stephen King, a lot of Dean Koontz. I prefer King over Koontz. I've read a lot of Tom Clancy. I like a lot of action, but at the same time, horror is also pretty cool. I've read classics like Brave New World. I have not read as much as I would have liked in the past couple of years. And I found that it's not necessarily because of how busy I am. It's principally because whenever I relax anymore, I usually relax with music. And I was doing that before, but I was combining both music and reading, and I can't do that anymore. I really can't. One or the other becomes way too distracting. So it's come to the point where I have to kind of put all of my focus on one thing, and because of that, there's just a limited window of time. Up next, we have what are some guilty pleasure bands that you listen to? Something people would not expect. I think I've answered this before, but I'll do it again. By the way, have you heard that Iron Maiden was released and made in England on DVD finally, and Brian Head Walsh is probably rejoining Korn? Metal Fan 230, this was posted 3 months ago. Made in England was released, and it looks really, really awesome. I've already sold a number of copies because, Iron Maiden's just awesome. Head rejoining Korn is not all of that surprising, considering from what I've been told, Jonathan Davis has also been born again, so it's kind of a welcoming connection right there. I think that it should make Korn a little interesting because they just did the Path of Totality, and that record actually created a little bit of a buzz. And now it's like, what do they do? Do they combine the elements, or do they just go back to old Korn? And if they go back to old Korn, I think it's going to be really bad because, like I said, the Path of Totality was the best Korn album in 10 years, and it's just principally on the fact that it wasn't the same old shit. But if they decide to combine the elements, there's a good chance that the record could be a lot more tolerable, and actually might be pretty good. As for guilty pleasure bands, I listen to a lot of blues. I like, Joe Bonamassa, Gary Clark Jr., Johnny Lang, people like that. I listen to some, softer rock. I like John Mayer a lot. His Born and Raised album was really, really good. I listen to Miguel. I listen to Justin Timberlake. I listen to a little bit of everything, but I'm very selective whenever it comes to that which is really popular with people, like pop music. I'm extremely selective whenever it comes to pop music because in most cases I can just, notice an oversaturated, overproduced piece of crap a mile away. And funny story, I actually had a friend of mine say that I was listening to an album wrong, and that's the reason why I didn't enjoy it. And it was a Beyonce album. I heard Beyonce's 4 while I was at work, and that is probably one of the biggest piles of crap I've ever heard in my entire life. And I have nothing against, female pop vocalists, or anything like that. I got no, bane against any of them. It's just that album sucked. It was a piece of shit. I wasn't listening to it wrong. He must have just been on drugs. The Tomb71 asks, do you choose the place in your home where you record a new video by random, or is there a system, and what do you think about the Black Sabbath reunion, especially the fuzz they made concerning Bill Ward? We're going to see how the Black Sabbath reunion comes full circle here in a couple of weeks, whenever 13 comes out, or we've already heard. Depends on whenever this video is posted. As for the place of my home, I determined this spot right here whenever we moved in. Now, the fact that there were some videos that were back in the old studio is basically just, I have it for storage, I have this other location and I'm able to go to, but I'd like to do it in my own home, considering, I don't want to have to pack up everything and drive and, do all of that just to record videos. I'd like to be able to do it in my own place. However, if I'm going to be over in the studio anyway, considering it's just basically a detachment of my old house, then I might as well get it done if I'm going to be there for a long period of time. But as you guys have probably noticed, I've not been over there in quite some time because, well, it's springtime. I don't really have to do a lot of stuff over there, like shoveling the walks or taking care of different things. I'm able to be a little bit more, around my own house, a little more present around my own place and things like that. Avenged Soul 6661 asks, say there's a boy and girl, now they're madly in love with each other and desperately want to spend the rest of their lives with each other. Is it possible for them to still believe in alien life forms? Abso-fucking-lutely. You're just fucking batshit ass crazy, but aliens, man. Aliens. Stefanovich, do you plan on doing a Rush discography? I had a lot of people ask me this since they got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I don't see that happening in the near future. Perhaps if album 21 comes along, I will consider it, considering I've done Clockwork Angels. But don't be surprised if I do 24 hours of reviewing and end up reviewing another Rush album. I mean, that's just a go-to band for me. I really like them. So, Fucking Slayer, top 10 best 90s death metal albums. That's a top 10 list. I can't do that on the spot like this. I might as well just record a whole video and get all those nice tasty views. Scurvy Rot, why did you decide to become a long hair? Any reasons other than it being a metal trend? I had short hair for a really long time, and I just kind of grew tired of it. Now, the music had a little bit of influence, don't get me wrong, considering I liked the look on a lot of people, and I wanted to have the ability to headbang and have it actually look like I was doing something. It wasn't so much a decision as it was just, one part laziness and one part convenience. It was laziness because I didn't have to go to a barber, and it was convenience because my hair just kept growing. So, yeah, there you go. I actually cut my hair back in 2008. That's the reason why in 2009, in my earliest videos, I didn't have this long hair, this trademark long hair. I had long hair before that. I cut it for a Dr. House Halloween costume. So, if you can believe that, I had a cane and everything, and the Vicodin problem. But but I decided to grow it back because I liked it, and I had done that for Locks of Love, and they didn't accept my hair. Or they did, and they just never sent me, a thank you or anything like that, like they usually do. So I was just like, fuck you, I'm just growing it again. Brody Winter, for a person who has never heard Porcupine Tree before, was the best album to start with. The most successful and probably accessible one is In Absentia. I really like Fear of a Blank Planet. I think that's another good one. It really showcases a lot of their different sides. I don't traditionally say this, but Voyage 34 is another one that I would get out of the way very quickly, because that is a side of Steven Wilson that shows up from time to time, especially on the earlier work. And it's good to get used to that. And Voyage 34 is done entirely in that style, so it's best to get accustomed to that prior to anything else. But their discography is just tremendous. And one of these days, there will be a discography review done on them. Damn it. Music madness. Anyways. We're going to do, I think, just 3 more. We're going to do Alham Brat P. Exhumer Fire and Damnation 2012 album review. That's not a question, it's a statement. That's another statement. That's a comment. I don't know. Okay, let's do, actually, 3 more. Kid I. My question, why hasn't FYE acquired vinyl yet, and will you push toward a movement for FYE to carry and sell vinyl? I live in East Kansas, and there are very few places where I can buy new releases. The closest place is nearly 4 minutes away from me. Sometimes I drive down there, I did to purchase the new Swans record. Sad, right. Yeah, that is kind of sad. I'm sorry that that's the case. FYE has acquired vinyl. At least my store has. It's a very small section. It's mainly used product that we've gotten from another dickhead store that sent us all the crap that he was never going to sell. Thank you for the 7 fucking vinyls of Kenny Rogers, you sick prick. But, yeah, we're going to be getting some newer releases, hopefully, in the future. It hasn't started happening yet, and I think the reason why is because we need to sell a couple more of the ones that we have, the newer ones. That way, it's really showcases that we have a base for that. And also, from what I understand, store managers have to do a little bit of that ordering on their own. And so I will be working with my store manager. That way we can mutually get a couple of good vinyl in there, at least in our store in Pennsylvania. As for you guys, having to go 40 minutes to drive to get a new record, good on you for doing it. Good on you for supporting music. That's something that the whole community appreciates. So I know it's an inconvenience, and I know that means you don't get there very often. However, whenever you do, that's really cool. And, ordering online might not have that same experience. And I know that I usually, don't talk about ordering online all that much. But there's nothing wrong with it, especially if you have no place around you. I mean, if you have no place around you, what are you supposed to do? You can't drive, for example, 2 hours just to, go buy albums. If you do that, you might as well stockpile like $1,000 and just go in one dedicated trip and just buy everything that you want. Dragon Jin, are you a fan of any Japanese metal bands? Have you ever listened to Glaniris, Liebringer, X-Japan, Anthem, Sabbath, and Psy? I have listened to all of them except for the first 2. That's surprising. I really, really like Psy. Sabbath is good classic stuff. Anthem is awesome. And X-Japan is also classic stuff. One more, your top 10 rock albums of the 70s. That's a top 10 list, for crying out loud. Maybe a video will be made. Part 11 done, in the books. We're getting there, folks. Part 12 coming soon. 12, 12, 12.